Hi everyone, this is Veronica. Today our topic of discussion is about the energy which is stored in the wastewater. So we know every year, every day in fact, a lot of wastewater is generated. So what kind of energy is stored in it, we'll discuss in detail. For my video updates and queries, you can connect with me on Instagram and Facebook because I feel together we can make a difference. Now see what is the relevance of this topic in your exams. It will be covered in your mains paper 3, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation. At objective level, you should know about UNU, INWEH. Subjective level, need for wastewater management. So now in what context today we are studying this? See, the world generates, so here I am talking about the world. It generates around 380 trillion liters wastewater every year. So this is important to remember here. Now these stores vast amount of energy in the form of fertilizers, in the form of nutrients that can be converted into used for making fertilizers, right? So these stores vast amounts of energy, nutrients for fertilizers, besides of course water, according to recent study by UN Institute for Water, Environment and Health. So UNUINWEH, it stands for UN Institute. So I have also written it here. Okay, that is UN Institute for Water, Environment and Health, right? So before going forward, let me tell you, whoever is watching our this lecture today and you have not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it for the regular updates so that you don't miss any important topic. Okay, now we will talk about energy here, that energy that is stored in wastewater. So in principle, nutrients, for example, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they can be recovered from wastewater that is produced annually and can actually offset 13.4% of global demand to produce fertilizers. And assuming full energy recovery, the study estimated current wastewater volume could provide enough methane fuel to power 196 million households by 2030. Right here it is written that if we see current wastewater volume, it could provide enough methane fuel to power 196 million households by 2030, and by 2050 we would be able to make it to 239 million. Another thing is usable water. If it is reclaimed from wastewater, it can irrigate up to 31 million hectare land. That is what the study claimed, and the volume of wastewater being generated is projected that it can rise roughly to 24%. So here just have a look what I told you. In last year the study is saying it is 380 trillions right now, but now it is estimated, it is projected that it can rise by 24% by 2030. That means it will lead to, we will generate 470 trillions liter of wastewater, and by 51% by 2050, that is 574 trillion liters. That is huge. So that is why treating wastewater efficiently can go a long way in achieving UN mandated sustainable development goals, your SDGs. Okay, so now talking about this UNINWEH. So basically it is a UN think tank on water, and it contributes to the resolution of global water challenge. Moreover, it also conceives, develops and manages water initiative that help developing countries build their capacity for lasting improvements. Now this university is not a traditional university in the sense like they have faculty, campus or students, but they respond directly to the regional and global water crisis and facilitate efforts to meet UN development goals by providing a scientific evidence base. So UNINWEH, it carries out its work in cooperation with many other research institutions, international organizations. There are individual scholars with whom they collaborate and work, and obviously the scientists throughout the world. So now next we will talk about this wastewater management in India. Right now we just talked about a global scenario, but now talking about India, so we have seen that over the period of time many states are taking steps to manage the wastewater. But what is important here for you to know that India generates a staggering 1.7 million tons of fecal waste a day. So official figures show show that 78% of this sewage generated, it remains untreated and is disposed in your rivers, groundwater and lakes. So there are two main sources of water contamination. One is your sewage, okay, another is your industrial waste. With both the population of India and its industrial landscape that is increasing at a phenomenal speed, wastewater volume is also increasing at an alarming rise. So adding to this, the shrinking of fresh water, we are facing a water crisis. There is shrinking of freshwater resources, for example rivers, wells and groundwater, and we are watching a lot of effects of increasing wastewater. So what are the effects? I have just in bullet points you can see these. Harmful effect on river and marine life we are seeing due to water contamination and all these factors. Lack of drinking water is there. Overabundance of certain harmful chemicals in sources of water, some of which are chronic in fact. Then we are seeing adverse effect on groundwater. There is soil pollution. There is rise in chronic health condition related to toxic chemicals. For example, there is rise in lead and mercury in all living creatures. Then rise of pollution in the coastal areas. So these are the effects that we can count that we are having. Now we will talk here about few legal mechanisms of wastewater regulation in India. So here I have numbered two of them. The Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, that is 1974. It was amended in 1988. So what does it say? So this legislation, it was introduced basically to provide for prevention and control of water pollution, that we want to prevent and control water pollution and we want to maintain or restore the wholesomeness of the water. So basically this provides for establishment of boards for the control of water pollution. Next is the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Cess Act 1977. It was amended in 2003. So this act actually binds consumers who are carrying on an industry that falls with the provision to affix meters for the purpose of assessing the quantity of water that is used in the act. So basically what I'm trying to say here, that industries have to include operations or processes or treatment and disposal systems which consume water or give rise to sewage effluent. So whatever waste they are generating, they have to treat it. Okay, that is what is in this act. Now talking about the current status of wastewater treatment in India, then only 1/3, you'll be surprised to know that only 1/3 of India's wastewater is currently treated. So leading to a very high burden of waterborne diseases obviously. So you know that while urban water access is high on average, significant gaps remains across the country, and this wastewater treatment remains stuck at a national average of around 33%. So talking about large wastewater generators, for example, you have Punjab, you have Maharashtra, we have Gujarat, we have UP. So they can potentially treat 65% to 100% of their urban wastewater. Despite this, many other populous states, for example, we have Madhya Pradesh, we have Bihar, we have Andhra Pradesh, they have only enough installed capacity to treat less than half their wastewater. So whatever they are generating, they don't even have the capacity to treat all of it. So further, several northeastern Himalayan states, they have low or no capacity for treatment. So this is, we know these are the challenges, these are the problems, but there must be some best practices in our country. So I have mentioned few, because whenever you write an exam, you have to give a positive conclusion. So you can quote these best practices in wastewater management. So first is your Avadi Sewage Treatment Plant, that is for sustainable off-grid sewage treatment in Chennai. So now see your TNPHC, that is Tamil Nadu Police Housing Corporation, has successfully constructed an off-grid STP. Okay, STP is your sewage treatment plant to improve living conditions in the police housing colony in Avadi, that is a suburban Chennai. Now this sewage treatment plant has not only solved the problem of sewage disposal, but it has also provided a pond of treated water for fishing, vegetable cultivation, recharging of groundwater. So it treats around 12 lakh litre of sewage every day with no negative discharge, and it produces manure, recharges groundwater, removes the source of you have this bad smell, that is foul odor. They take care of this also, and waterborne diseases, and it beautifies the area, right? Next is sewage fed aquaculture system of Kolkata. That is a very century old innovation of the farmers. So here the farmers around the Kolkata city, what they do in India, they have actually developed a technique of using they are basically using domestic sewage here to grow fish for the fish culture and other agricultural purposes, and they are doing this from last 1 century. So this technique is widely used to meet the growing demand for fish. So the technique is considered to be unique and is the largest operational system in the world to convert your waste into the consumable goods. So last is zero liquid discharge in textile industry in Tirupur. So the dyeing and bleaching industry in the South Indian knitwear hub Tirupur, it is known as first to opt for ZLD, that is zero liquid discharge. So they include the processes like reverse osmosis. Okay, so it is done in a systematic manner, eliminating the release of pollutant. So the components of this ZLD includes reverse osmosis. They enable extensive reuse and recovery of water and salts, and in this process it minimizes the freshwater requirements. So you can always quote these best practices which are going on in India. So talking about way forward, see, attaining high rates of economic growth for India will directly be a function of sustainable use of water. Water is very, very important, and in last few years we have seen a water crisis globally, and in India also we have water stress states also. So particularly in recycling and reuse, as it will be crucial for future urban planning and policy, this process is very important. So there are 3 points: that wastewater can be cost efficient, sustainable source of energy, it will help to protect your human and environmental health, it can have implications on food and energy security, as well as climate change mitigation, prevention for whatever bad we are doing to the climate. So that is why it is very important. So for the PDF, you can get the PDF on my Telegram channel. Just search Veronica Study IQ. So that's it for today. Thank you.